Good morning and welcome along to another episode of Tannadice Tales from Dundee United. It's episode 7 today and we're back for a pretty big spell, to be honest. We've got the January transfer window, we've got a cup semi-final against our bogey side so far this season, and of course a big spell in the league as well as we continue to try and be best of the rest after the Old Firm. So thank you for everyone waiting and coming in so early. I do appreciate it on this Sunday morning. Please do chuck a thumbs up on it if you haven't already. Come and get involved in the chat. Let us know how you're getting on, how your team got on yesterday if you played. And fingers crossed, what football you're looking forward to today. Dylan, L Gaming, good morning. Thank you for popping in. I hope everybody's well. But this is a big one today. It really is. Because the Hamilton game, we've got to build up to it. And I'm hoping it will go well. Because it is the most important moment. Forget the League One. If we can win a cup in our first season, we've basically wrapped up third anyway. It would be some achievement. So we might have some January news as well. We'll keep an eye on that. We have got an injury blown ahead of today, which is a bit of a problem. But we'll deal with that as it comes to it. Yeah, and L Gaming, we can talk about that now, can't we? We'll go through that in a minute. What should the Dundee and Dundee United fans think? We never knew it was going to end up like this, did we? Jack, welcome along. Nice to see a new face in the live stream. Appreciate you coming in. I've seen you in the comments of a video before, I'm pretty sure. But thank you for popping in. We're in double figures after 1 minute. I mean, it's absolutely remarkable. Thank you for your support. Please chuck a thumbs up and let's have a good old morning chat. We'll be wrapped up by 12, ready for the Premier League game. And then, of course, it's the Scottish Cup final from the 1920 season at 2 o'clock or 2:15 kickoff. So that's going to be interesting as well, particularly with the form Celtic have been in. Craig, good morning. L Gaming Wrexham lost on pens. That's a bit of a shame. Is that the FA Trophy, I presume? Mark, good morning. Thanks for popping in. Ravenite, hello. It's all going well. I hope the same for you guys too. L Gaming, I can't believe I lost to all of you on the podcast. Unfortunately, you only got 3 points. Charlie got 4. Yeah, he got 3 points, Craig. I got 7, you got 9, and Charlie got 4. Still buzzing for my team's 93rd minute winner yesterday against the league leaders. And make the most of it, because obviously football's going to be off for a few weeks now, isn't it? Particularly in our area of the country. They've made up a new tier a day after saying they wouldn't cancel Christmas. And we all ordered all of our shopping, so there you go. I can confirm you did, based on Craig's scoring. Dylan, I'm currently loving my Wigan FM save, but I need a right back as Tom James is out for the season. Who's the guy we got? The one we got in the Wigan save was quite good. Was his name Quateng, I think? Let me have a look. I can't remember what his name was. Oh, that's going to annoy me. Where did we get him from? I think it was Leeds. It was the first season, so he can't have been a regen. Or a new gen, sorry. Let me go and have a look. I will find him for you. Surely he can't have been a regen. Who is the right backer we got in? Was it not from Leeds? Maybe I'm making it up. Let me look in the 18s, just in case. I could have been sure it was them. Oh, I've given myself a bit of a dilemma right at the start here. Let me just have a look in the first team in case, and then I'll look at the sold players, but perhaps it wasn't. Players going out. I can't see a name, so perhaps I'm making that one up completely. I could have been sure it was that, though. Leeds are 11th in the Premier League. Not bad, by the way, while we're there. Oh, Mitch Pixley. We know him from Bangor City. I didn't realise he was a Leeds Academy player. There you go. I wish I could help you. If you go back and check out the Wigan save and see who we ended the season with at right back, he was a good signing. He was about £1 million as well. Ravenite, as a United fan, I find it hilarious. Charlie got 3. Oh, you said 4. You corrected it after, though, I thought. You said 3 and then you went 4. But either way, L Gaming didn't beat him, unfortunately. It's the beauty of the Championship. It's the most unpredictable league in the world. That's why we do the predictions for it. Because you get people down in the comments saying, oh, you're stupid and all that. But it's hilarious because it's hard to predict and it makes it more entertaining. And, of course, my favourite team are there as well. Oh, okay. He was FA if I remember correctly. Fair enough. Yeah, official new gen. Yeah, I do need to correct myself on that. But it is what it is. His name was Quatem, but I can't find him. It must have been a regen then. But how did that happen in the middle of the first season? I don't even remember what club he came from now. Because when we carried on off camera I moved to Spurs because they got relegated. So I don't really know how we're going to get on now. That's my off-camera save at the minute. It's my fault for not watching the Championship the week before. And then, of course, we had the postponement yesterday as well, didn't we? Rotherham Derby. So we'll see. Has the teaser been put on YouTube? It hasn't yet. I've only just started editing the first one. I did the first few minutes before this. So it won't be a long series, but tomorrow, as I put at the top of the chat, we'll be starting a Christmas mini-series that will run on midday from Monday to Sunday. If you're on the Discord and that, you'll see the little spoilers and that for it if you want to. But it's got a bit of Christmas jazz in, so I hope you like that. And it's just going to be a little challenge for the week. It won't affect this content, which will run every day. The 2 long-term stories will run. The live streams will run as normal. It's just a little bonus to go on, cover the whole Christmas week. How are Spurs getting on? I'm second in the league with them, but I've kept most of the unhappy ones, so I'm just gradually winning them over. I could have 4 points of each, Charlie. Well, you could if you'd got the Derby one right, but we all went for the same outcome, I think, so I don't think anyone could have won from it. But thank you to everyone coming in. Please do chuck a thumbs up on it if you haven't already. It does make such a difference. And of course, I hope you're looking forward to next week's series. I hope you're enjoying the irony of the head coach to this, because as a few of you have pointed out, we've had a little bit of a topsy-turvy spell, we should say, in the head coach, where we've ended up at the great rivals, Dundee. And actually, in yesterday's episode, we played Dundee United, so it has all worked out quite interestingly. But enough's enough, let's go and get into the first game today. We're playing Aberdeen, and we've got a big problem. And that problem is, Lawrence Shankland has picked up a virus. He is out for a week. Michael Duffy's picked up a twisted knee. After that Celtic game, he is out for today's game, as is Josh Clark. So a lot of wingers and a lot of strikers out. And let's be honest, behind Shankland and McNulty, we've got nowhere near the same quality. Nicky Clark can do it for an odd game, but it's not the same, is it? So, Nicky Clark, as we speak of him, is going in up front. He'll be the poacher. We'll leave McNulty where he is because he scores goals for fun. On the right-hand side, we'll have Liam Smith at right back. And on the right midfield, Luke Bolton's back in. In fact, we've got a few rotated here. I forgot we rotated most of the team against Celtic, didn't we? So Leandro Fuchs can come back in. Seems a shame to do it because they were so good against Celtic. I do think I want to leave Garber in because he goes back from his loan tomorrow. He does. And I want to make sure everyone's fit. So Garber will start. In a holding role, I think we can stick with Houghton. He was better than O'Reilly's been for a long time. McNulty's in up there. At the back, we'll have Tyrick Mitchell, Ted and Mengi back in. Mark Reynolds tired, so Pearson will start and get some match fitness. And then on the bench, we will bring Reynolds up and we will bring Robson in for Shankland. And we'll have to bring a Pere in as the backup striker as well. He'll go in for Duffy. But we are starting to get a bit light on the ground in certain areas. And it's the one thing, really, that I'm looking for this January. If we go and have a look at the scouted players, I mean, I just want to get a striker in. The most likely option, as it stands, is probably Brophy from Kilmarnock. But again, I don't know that we can afford him at the minute, which is another big problem. Sunderland have gone for Martin Samuelson, who's not a great striker. So let's get players who are interested in a transfer. Doesn't have to be that interested. Ryan Hardy on loan at Plymouth, he could be an option. They don't want big money for him, and he's quite good at what he does, and he suits the tactic as well. So it could be either of those, but I think it has to be Brophy, doesn't it? So let's go and scout him again, see if we can get a good player in. I just worry about his value because he's got a long contract and he's worth a lot of money. And we don't have a big transfer budget, as you've seen. We could look at Jason Cummings as another example. He's played quite well in this series. So we'll scout him too. And we will scout Hardy just as the third option. But it's the one area where I look past the first 11 and think, we're probably not a quite great quality side there. Schmidt's okay from Barnsley, but he's on big money. And that's why the Scottish players are more of a lure, because they're not on big wages. But let's go and get into the first game. We've changed back to pretty close to our first 11. But the miss of Lawrence Shankland is going to be huge. It's Aberdeen v Dundee United. Let's see how we get on. And of course, as a few have pointed out in the Discord, I've got to try not to mix up the Dundee and Dundee United across the saves now, which is a little bit tricky. So Mark, you've put Coutinho at Bordeaux. So I've only got the British leagues loaded here, so that might be why he didn't show. Yeah, the more you think of it, Bordeaux might be right, actually. So I guess it depends what league you've got loaded, if you'll be able to get him. But then I think we've only got the same leagues loaded that we had in the Wigan save. So I'm not sure why that's different. Let me catch up with the chat quickly. Jack, I'm a Chelsea fan, but I was born in Bangor, North Wales. Love the attention the club's getting with you. Very loyal fans who have been through a lot in recent years. You're absolutely spot on. I mean, I'll be honest, at the end of FM20 after Cliftonville, I was looking potentially at another Northern Irish one, because that was something I really enjoyed. But then once the Bangor story came out, I was a bit aware of the demotion beforehand and the size of the club. They were always the best supported when I'd done challenges previously. But then to see it actually in full detail with the Vaughns and all of that as well, which was just bizarre. So I was really glad to take it on. It's been great for me. Like, I've had a couple of the players in the chat, the young keeper Shane Owen. I had a player from Llandudno who came in and said, come and sign me, please. So I've really loved that. And that's been the greatest thing. Welsh and Northern Irish football has so much community about it. And that's something that's completely different, both here and on the podcast channel. Yeah, Wales is the best place to be for the Builder Nation. And I will warn you next week, because it does look like so far maybe it's been a bit too much plain sailing. If you were worried that that might be the case and you were thinking about stopping, then next week's the week for you, I think. As Luke Bolton puts one wide there. It certainly isn't plain sailing, I'll say that. Vertrex Gaming, welcome along. Thank you for popping in. Craig, yes, he did definitely get 3 points, unfortunately. Carl, is the virus COVID? It's possible, because they did work slightly more of them into the game as a result. So there's every chance it will have been that. But obviously, we'll never know, unfortunately. And fair play to them for not putting it in the game. The real world's bleak enough at the minute. Craig, just one of those weeks, exactly. It does happen occasionally. We've all had a week where we've got 3 or less at some point this season. As if I've got Dembele for $1 million from Celtic. Wow. Craig, join the Arsenal debate on Discord. No, please don't. It's been nice. We're not arguing about the clubs. Thoughts on another Arsenal loss? It is, look, it's a difficult spell for them. There's a lot going wrong behind the scenes, and that will remain the case for a lot of these clubs. Even thinking in EFL, where we've done our sort of manager specials and that, all of the ones where there's off-the-pitch trauma and random stuff going on all the time. Look at Sheffield Wednesday. Doesn't matter what manager you bring in. If you don't pay the wages on time, no manager's going to be able to motivate a team easily. McNulty's in again. We've been outclassed here. And Mark McNulty just gets on the end of a hopeful clearance. And somehow we find a way to lead again. It's our first shot on target. Aberdeen have been utterly dominant to that point. But we'll take it. Look at the expected goals. Can you sign Leo Smith for Bangor? I can't sign a specific player recommended unless they're in my scout reports. Where does Leo Smith play now, though? Because I'll be able to have a look at him in a future episode. Dylan, I just signed a right back, Reece Marshall from Shamrock Rovers, because they're affiliated with me. I'll tell you what, while I'm here, I'll wait till the next highlight ends so I can skip back to the game normally. But I'll go and have a look to see him, because we should have the Irish League loaded. As Mengi's giving it away. Oh, that was nearly a great goal. Cosgrove went from distance, and it's comfortably wide. Right, let's go back. Reece Marshall, you said it was. Shamrock Rovers. Oh, he's pretty good. Certainly solid for League One, I'd say. And very low wage, which is always a big benefit. And he's Northern Irish as well. Interesting. So I won't be affected by whatever Brexit you have in game. Just under 20 to go. I'm going to make some changes. Let me just catch up with the chat very quickly. Yeah, Everton are a good side, and they will be the other team this year. With the top 6, Leicester and Everton will be up there. It will be an 8 now. L Gaming, I'll go and have a go at FM Online, actually, because me and Craig were planning on starting soon. Need to do another manager special. We do. There'll be a Watford one today. So keep an eye out on the podcast this evening. There'll be something Watford based there. I can't promise what time because I'm working back at the vaccine hub later, but we'll get there. Arsenal TV entertained Carl yesterday while watching Stoke defend. Well, I only got to see the first half of the Luton game. We were very good. We were probably just about edged Bournemouth. Begovic made a couple of good saves. But then obviously I had to work after that. So unfortunately I didn't see the rest. But Luton looked fantastic. Maka, good morning. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it as always. Jack, just a little note. The Bangorays, as they're known, pronounce Bangor Bangor. I always thought specifically it was Bangor. Because the Northern Irish Bangor is Bangor. And I think Loki's ended up at them in his journeyman save, so that's interesting. Elgame, he plays for TNS. I'll have a look. They must have signed a new right back. Only 240k he cost me on a year contract. It's a good deal. Definitely take it. Yeah, Watford sacked another manager. They've sacked Ivic after 4 months in charge. They're 5th in the league. And it's just because they lost a game against a side who are very good at home, which is interesting. But Nigel Pearson will be laughing, and he deserves it after being sacked despite saving them from the brink. Let's make some changes. Sporrell's coming on the left. Matt O'Reilly in centre midfield. Up front, Nicky Clark's been poor. So, do you know what? We'll give Pere a run out. Maybe even Logan Chalmers up there. Can he finish? Not really. So I think that'll be it for now. We'll leave the other two. I do keep getting asked in the comments by a couple of people in the head coach series to add the logo packs for the game. But the Scottish game's fully licensed and all the player faces are in there. So I don't really understand why it's up. I think they might just want me to download their logo pack. But it's a bit of a bizarre one, that. As Pere flicks on, no one's getting there. I'm not sure we're going to hold on here, to be brutally honest. Mark, struggling to commit to any saves since the beta. Watched the Class 92 this morning and fancied that challenge. But as I worked for Alloa for 3 years, they're a good challenge as they're part-time. Yeah, I've really enjoyed Scotland. I'd recommend it to anyone. And the same for Northern Ireland last year. I'm trying to think of the sort of challenges I would go for. I mean, if you've never been there in FM before, I'd say Northern Ireland's a good one. But it just depends. You have to be patient and get through the early bits where it's all a bit samey, isn't it? Ah, there you go. Aberdeen have equalised. It was coming. They've been by far the better team. We're going to take Bolton off on the right for Chalmers. We've got one more substitution break, which we'll think about. I might put Fuchs right back and bring Glenn Ray on, just to give us more bite in the middle, because we're not playing well here. As Sporrell gives it to O'Reilly, to Mitchell. But we are the masters of scoring freak goals on the counter-attack. As Fuchs picks it up again. Out to the right to Chalmers. Cuts it into Pere. Not the best player, but gives it to Fuchs. And the switch is poor. Logan gets there and is cleared downfield. Thank you to everyone joining along as well. Great to have you all in this morning. Probably the record viewers for a couple of weeks, to be brutally honest. It's great to have you all in. We're just a couple of likes away from double figures, so please chuck one on if you haven't yet. And of course, as you know, in the head coach now, we're with the bitter rivals in Dundee. McNulty's in! Oh, he doesn't miss them very often. Normally, we're masters from that position. Let's go and make those changes then. Liam Smith will be replaced by Fuchs at right back. And then in midfield, we'll bring Glenn Ray on, just to give us a bit more bite. Matty Pearson's got to mark Cosgrove, a big target man. Should be easy for a player like him. And we're actually now on top of the shots on target rate. We've not had much possession. We've not had much attacking spirit. And we're defending a throw-in deep into stoppage time. As McLennan, the scorer, finds Logan to Jones. Be a bitter blow if we lost it from here. Ojo plays a 1-2. Jones again. They're keeping it well here. Campbell's going to go from distance, is he? The last thing we want is a shot there. Pearson does well. Pere's nicked it to Ray. Get someone in, can you? Here's Pere. Hasn't scored all season in the league. In he goes. It's a good save by Joe Lewis. And Devlin hacks clear. And I think that's going to be it. We've got one more chance on the left. And then I'll catch back up with the chat. As Tyrick Mitchell's got the throw-in. He seems to be content to time waste here. Plays a 1-2 with McNulty. The cross is blocked and is cleared downfield. And now Cosgrove holds it up. And this is where we're in trouble. We need a recovery. Who's making the run? McLennan is. Tyrick Mitchell chases him. Can he stop the cross? He can't. It's in towards Cosgrove and Glenn Ray heads away. It is a ruthless end-to-end finish. Into the back stick again. It's overhit. That must be it. It is. It's out for offside. And it's going to be a 1-1 draw. Not a bad result in the grand scheme of things. We keep ticking over. We keep unbeaten. And that's all that matters. Right, let me catch up with the chat again. Yeah, everyone said about the Kefin Druids pronunciation. I can only apologise. Expect a rant later from Craig and expect me having to edit out the worst of it. They're the rivals of Luton, El Gaming, and Craig's more worried about rivalries than me. Joe, morning. Knezov, good morning from Croatia. Wow, thank you for popping in. 21st country on the list in the live streams in FM21. Is Nicky Clark bored of hairdressing? I'm always in with the dad jokes, aren't you, Carl? You like that? My Discord has just descended into dad jokes now, hasn't it? That's why they went down in the first place. It was because Pearson, with 2 games to go, would have kept them up. The thing is, I'm not really... The logo pack thing has never worried me in FM. It's never been a problem for me. At the moment, obviously, it doesn't matter. I was going to do Rangers Celtic with my mate, but it didn't work. I'll have to have a look after. Any dislikes on this? You know they're Dundee fans and the other way round. To be honest, I don't mind it. Like, the same as the head coach. There's one or two that come in, they dislike it, and then they say whatever. But, you know, they're viewing the content. They're watching adverts. They're actually helping the channel, if anything. It's a very strange way. But, you know, we're in the world now where some people have to be negative, unfortunately. Did anyone in the Discord, apart from one, know who it was that I sent? No, I'm not sure. Craig's just shouted Sluger, and I'm not quite sure why. Is there a reason for that, Craig? He's not in goal for Aberdeen, is he? Oh, it was Joe Lewis. He's back on the bench yesterday, though, so good to see that Sluger's back from injury. Hopefully he'll be in soon, but James Shea's doing an able job as deputy. He's probably the safest pair of hands you'll ever have as a number 2. In every single season, at some point, he's become the number 1. It's been brilliant. It's key to the 2 promotions. And there we go. A decent point. Not the best result. Motherwell nicked to win in theirs, so they do close the gap slightly. But they beat Hamilton, who we would like to be in bad form, so we can't complain. Oh, it must be the Old Firm tomorrow, because the other 10 have played. So I'm looking at the scores, and I'm thinking maybe we could beat one of the Old Firm clubs if we keep consistent. Now, Chris Mockery's got a long injury. He's out on loan, and you guys have told me to look out for him, saying he'll be very good. And he looks it, but with 2 months out, that could harm him. Hibs lost in a thriller at home to Livingston. I've got to say, actually, over on the podcast, talking the Scottish football theme, we interviewed Ian Crocker on Friday's one. In fact, obviously commentates for Sky Sports on the Scottish games. And all of his best moments included Hibs. I think he might be a secret fan of them. But it was really interesting, actually. I quite enjoyed it. Right, the transfer window is open. The 3rd of... I don't know why it's the 3rd and a Sunday. That seems a bit bizarre. Let's have a look. I'm just seeing if there's any good players here. There's a free agent. Out of contract at the end of the year, Rodell Richards. So we found him in the newspaper columns and we're going to go and scout him. Other than that, though, I don't know. Matt Smith's the target man. He doesn't really suit us. Christopher Ayer looks like he's off to the Premier League. Jetro Williams is going to be a free agent. Good player. Shota Avaladze, former Rangers legend, might be the next Aberdeen manager. Odson Edward to Everton. Gordon Strachan to Aberdeen. Of course, we took over from him at Dundee in the head coach. He left for... Well, he got poached by Sheffield Wednesday, didn't he? Oh, I've just said we consider a Shankland sale. That is a big mistake. I just want to check they've all got long enough contracts. I haven't actually thought about that much this year. Shankland has got next year on his contracts. Who's wanting him? Celtic. No chance. He's worth 6 million. I mean, maybe if they gave us like 15 million or so, we could probably rebuild. Especially if we could keep McNulty. But I don't think we could do that because we'd afford to lose both. And we don't know if that's a possibility. So yeah, everyone else seems tied up by the loanies. Let's catch up with the chat very quickly. John, welcome along. Thanks for popping in. Second place with United. It's a bit of a false sense of security, I'm afraid. Because Celtic have got about 4 games in hand. 3 games in hand and they're 3 points behind. So we're definitely going to be 3rd. But my club Luton Town have helped us out, which I appreciate. Reckon you should send your FM CV into Ross County. Yeah, I saw Kettlewell got sacked, didn't he? I don't think I'd get that one. Unfortunately. I'd love it, but unfortunately it won't happen. Can we see how Wrexham are getting on? We can indeed. Let me quickly do that for you. Wrexham 19th now in the National League. It is getting worse and worse. Dean Keats has been sacked. Carl Darlington is caretaker manager. And Wrexham are 2 points above the relegation zone. Let's look at the Old Firm, see what the result is. If Celtic win that, they'll win the title in this. Mackery, love that Hibs goal to win the Scottish Cup. Although, to be fair, everyone did apart from Rangers and Hearts fans. Yeah, it was one of his highlights. He said the moment historically, you can understand it. But the 6-6 game with Motherwell, I didn't expect that to crop up. Dylan, I can't believe my real life strike partner will be in FM next year. He just signed with Blackpool under-18s. What's the name? And I'll keep an eye out for it. Because obviously once he's 16, he'll go into the game. Or once he's at a professional club. Tried to take the Croatian League. I recommend Hajduk Split. Well, we've got the Croatian League loaded in the head coach. So I've sort of said this where we're with Dundee and we're in the top flight. If we could get a move to Europe, that would be great. So I'm kind of hoping that will be an option, like a Croatian league. I've sort of looked at those sort of leagues just beyond the top 5 that everyone talks about. The likes of, I guess, Croatia. I've got Portugal. We've got the Russian league. We've got the Ukrainian league. We've got, I was going to say the MLS, but I don't really want to go over there at the early stage of the career. But it's every possibility it could happen. You never know. And obviously our number 1 at Luton Town is the Croatian goalkeeper, Simon Sluga. So we've got a link there, even in Luton Town. So there will be a Croatian featuring on the channel at some point in the next week. You might be getting a real life job. I think we'll, while we're doing the, well, it's a very boring old firm. I don't think I'll be allowed to shorten my notice period given the current situation in the NHS this winter. Carl Darling, no, it's only a caretaker. They'll get another one. Luke Byron. I'll keep an eye out for that name. Blackpool under 18s. That's not a bad move, that. What club was he at before? Where was he playing with you? Is it like a school team? Was it a Sunday team? Was it a semi-pro team? Where were you playing? Is it the Scottish head coach, this FM? It has been so far, but it probably won't be the whole time around. See, I've seen that name pop up before in Croatia. It might have been maybe in one of the qualifiers. I'm trying to think, because we played Dinamo in Season 3 in the qualifiers for Bangor. I'm wondering if he'd been signed by them there. I'll have to keep an eye out. I'll have to go back and look. I'm sure it might have been him. Or maybe he's just popped up in one of the other saves. All about the balloon, Mackie. Yeah, the Discord ones will know what that means. Portugal's a good league. So we finished there in FM19. We finished at Sporting Lisbon. So yeah, I really enjoyed that spell as well. We never really got the sort of super club in that series. Obviously we took Newcastle back to where they belong. But we never really got that monstrous move to one of the bona fide super clubs at the start. Jack Byrne looks a great player at Shamrock, but unfortunately we haven't got the transfer budget. When's he out of contract? End of the year. So we'll add him to the shortlist for 6 months. Central defender. Jimmy Dunn is definitely the man. They're asking us to get him on a end of contract deal. So again, we'll add him to the shortlist for 6 months. Otherwise, I think that's about it. St Johnstone up next. I've just realised that I've been talking for so long. We haven't even got through to the second game after half an hour. Should probably speed it up a bit, shouldn't I? No under 18s assistant manager. It's the football sorting that stuff out. Pennington JPL Youth Academy. Oh, fair enough. Not a bad standard at all then. Do you think Benny Beningham's a good signing for League One? I would say so. He's a good player. He's got the potential as well. So if you're willing to put the investment into the training, that'll definitely help. I've started a new FM save unemployed to win the balloon. I don't know if by the full game, if Brecon had got another manager in, because they might not be available then. So I don't know what Scottish League 2 or League 1 clubs would be there. Because obviously their season's been a bit stop-start with the lockdowns and that. We've got an affiliate report. I forgot about that. We've got Nice as a senior affiliate, so we can go over there and have a look at their loan list. Obviously, we don't use the player and staff search screen, but we've got a physical link with Nice. So let's go and see. I mean, because the league's not loaded, there's not that many real players there. And I worry that that's probably going to mean there's no one available at the moment. All of those in the first team are seniors. The one player in the reserve team is out on loan already. Anyone in the 19s? We'll keep an eye out for their youth intake. Thank you to everyone coming along as well. So many people, so many thumbs up. Do appreciate it. Tom, top 3 Xmas songs. None. Hate Christmas songs. Deliberately avoid the shops for it. L Gaming, I'd love to see you go Liverpool in this FM. Again, we ended up there at the end of FM19. But they dropped right down to the bottom of the league and it ended up being a save Liverpool series. I wanted Jack Byrne, but he said he was loyal to Shamrock. So it looks like we can get him, but unfortunately, they want nearly £500,000 and we've only got about 20 grand, which doesn't help. I'm just trying to look for a centre forward. That's the main thing here. If we go back to those scouting assignments that we set. So we're looking at this youngster, Tony Weston, on loan from Rangers at Falkirk. Looks a great prospect at 17. And of course would become homegrown at the club, but they don't want to sell him, and rightly so. Eamon Brophy, he wants 500 grand now. How on earth has that happened? But they only want £2 a week, so I wonder if we go to the adjustments, how much does taking £6 off the wage bill give us? Not enough, but it gives us 200 grand, so we can keep an eye on that. Jason Cummins was next from Shrewsbury. Bit of a wild one, but he is a free at the end of the year, so we could potentially look for him instead. He'll probably want bigger wages, I'd imagine, and he wants to be an important player, and really we're looking for a first backup. Ryan Hardy, same again, out of contract, so he could have a very good squad next year. And Rodell Richards, the youngster off the scout report. Oh, this could be the one. He's already rated very solidly. And he's earning a lot of money. We're going to go for him. Oh, he doesn't want to negotiate. Keeping his options open. What a shame. Oh, it was nearly there. Free Gold, welcome along. Appreciate you coming in this morning. Let me catch up with the chat. Craig's getting excited because Tom's here. Welcome along, Tom. L Gaming's got his 3 in. Slade's probably the best one because that's my style of music, more rock and roll. But even then, I'd rather not have a Christmas song. Jack, I've really got into American football over the last few years. I think it's because it's one of the most tactical games I've come across. See, I'm not a big fan of American sports, but it's not because of the sports. Like basketball, for example, is a good sport. It's just the stop-start nature for the commercials and the way that they run it over there. I just find that so, tedious. But then I say that as a fan of snooker and cricket, so I haven't got a good excuse for it. But I guess I've got enough sports already that I can't take on any new ones. But the snooker finals today, so I'm looking forward to that. It was a great semi last night. Out of context, that could be an inappropriate statement. Carl could do an Arsenal save. There's so many of them about. Basically, when I'm looking at the club list, I try and look for ones that no big YouTubers got. And I try to avoid the ones that little YouTubers have done as well. Because it used to frustrate me when a big YouTuber came along and did the same club as me. So I try and avoid it where possible. Or pick one that the least people have done. Who is the Man United fan here? That's Craig, L Gaming. You hate every single Christmas song. I don't hate every single Christmas song. Of choice, I would not listen to any Christmas song. I would rather listen to normal music. That's my point. But if you force me into one, I'd say Slade. Arsenal FM23's League One. Jack, if FM made an AFM, they'd rake it in the US, yeah. But to be honest, they put so much into this game. It'd be a huge branch out, particularly at this current time. The NFL is great, although it does go against my sporting ethos with all the franchises moving cities. Yeah, the sort of franchise thing is the bit I haven't been able to get into. But then, in cricket it's come in and I've sort of adapted to it for T20. Craig, to be honest, Tom, I have to listen to Christmas songs 8 hours straight and I was sick of it 30 minutes in. If you work in retail or that'd be horrible. But they even have them on at work in the waiting room at GP surgery. I just absolutely hate it. L Gaming, rugby's better than the NFL. I've never been a big rugby fan, I guess. That's probably part of the reason I haven't got into NFL. I watch the Six Nations and that, but I'm not a massive fan of it. Mark, you're obsessed with Arsenal. You should join a group to deal with your obsession. There's a few of them about, isn't there? Tom, you'll be on Mark's side with that one, as I can see further down. Thank you for all the activeness in the chat. I do appreciate it. Football Mogul is a good NFL management sim. I've never heard of it, to be honest. Jack, yeah, that's the great thing is finding these new games. Just because I'm not an NFL fan doesn't mean I wouldn't try a management game because I like that sort of thing. There's plenty of people who play FIFA who don't like football, so I'd certainly be interested. The problem with series like this on YouTube is if you're just a casual fan, you do get found out a bit, don't you? You get the people coming in saying, "No, it's not this, it's not this. How have you not heard of this guy?" or whatever. Raven, I'd go with Slade. Yeah, see, he's gone for the same option as me. No, I can't, Craig. I can't stand the Fairy Tale of New York either. Red Zone on a Sunday night, 6 hours of uninterrupted football. Best way to view the NFL. Oh dear. I like Red Zone, but I have to watch the Dolphins games in full. Our Gaming not a big rugby fan either. Yeah, it's sort of the NFL and rugby thing. They get posted together just because of the shape of the ball, basically, don't they? El Gaming, enjoying the content on the podcast and this channel. Very kind, do appreciate it. Craig, spoiler, on the podcast channel there will hopefully be a quiz between me and Daniel. Who will win? Me or Craig? Well, we know how the last one went, Craig, didn't we? El Gaming's a fan of the Christmas song, but it's just not my cup of tea. I don't mind people who like them, but it's not for me. Right, let's get ahead to this St Johnstone game. We've got to get through them. We might have to go one shorter today. We will get the cup semi-final in regardless. We'll obviously have a youth intake in just a couple of episodes as well. Craig, look who's come up in my scout reports. Craig Savage, this is one for you. Top man in the scout report, Deshaun Bernard. There you go. That'll make your day. No more comment on that, but I know that will. Right, the left winger's gone back. So in comes... Why is Dennis Mehmet unregistered? What on earth is going on here? Let me go to the squad. Registration. Loads of players have suddenly been unregistered. So Paul McMullen, Michael Duffy, they've all been playing, so they must have been registered. And Peter Paulett's back from his loan spell. I forgot about that as well. I think we can probably try and sell him now with the midfield options we've got. Sunderland and Accrington want him. And to be fair, he did alright away at Bradford, so we'll offer him a deal. Transfer list him, off he goes. He's played for 2 clubs already, which could be a problem. Paul McMullen, a couple of clubs want him, so we're going to offer him out on a transfer. And the same possibly goes elsewhere, but we'll see. I'm still looking at Rakowski as the backup keeper. He's on trial at the minute. I think he's one we could look at, but he wanted big money before and we couldn't get a work permit. So that's why he stayed that way. Right, let's go back to the lineup. We have got Josh Clark back to fitness. He'll come onto the bench for a Pere, only because Shanklin will also go onto the bench in place of, I think, Callum Butcher, or Ryan Edwards, in fact. Pearson played averagely, so I'm going to bring Reynolds back in at centre-half. On the left wing, Sporrell's back. And that means we will have one on the bench. So maybe a Pere stays in. He did okay in the last one. Duffy's not quite back yet. And of course, Shanklin's not fully fit. So if we're winning, it gives us a better option there. But aside from that, I think we'll stick the same. O'Reilly off the bench did well, so he can replace Houghton. But whoever starts seems to do poorly. So 3 changes from the last match. Reynolds, O'Reilly and Sporrell come in. Let me catch up with the chats again. Craig seen Deshaun Bernard. There you go. Does Wenger's reputation grow by the week? Same as Sir Alex at United, isn't it? You realise after a while how good they've done. But again, Wenger and Ferguson were given time. And these guys aren't getting that. Dylan, have to go, mate. Enjoy your morning. Appreciate your support. Thanks for coming in today. They needed Big Sam. They probably did, in truth. We did have a joke about it in the Discord. Deshaun Bernard is definitely Craig's man of the year. Raven, I'm not getting involved with that, but I understand your premise. 3 gold mistletoe and wine. No, don't say that. Don't say that. It's the worst one for me. It's probably my least favourite if I have to pick one. Jack, think the more you learn, Mac, the more you appreciate the game. Yeah, that's the thing. It's taking the time to learn and understand the games, which we're not very patient at, are we, in the modern world? Ah, Mark, you've spotted it. They only need to be registered after Brexit. Fair enough. So there's a few rules that loads of people are going to be fooled by. Wow, we've got snow and ice. It is a very wintry looking pitch, just in time. Why is Craig so happy by that? Because on the podcast channel we did Tranmere v Wickham, and he got him on loan at Wickham, and he featured in the Tranmere Wickham game, and it's probably the most memorable moment of the series. Yeah, your display in the predictions has let you down, I'm afraid. I get sent the Deshaun Bernard clip in our WhatsApp group at least once a month. Probably once a week, in fairness. Managers don't get time anymore, especially at Watford. And that's the thing. Is, don't forget, Ferguson was on the brink of the sack. As St Johnstone are dominating this match. We're going to demand more, but we've not been playing well for a while now. But we still keep sneaking some results. I appreciate that with Wenger, but Ferguson's an exception. And the first half of the season, you're saying to Arteta, he won the FA Cup in his first part season, which none of them achieved. So give him a full season to rebuild and then judge him. And this season's harder than ever because it's so condensed. Yeah, managers, I don't even think they get a coat rack, to be honest, mate. I don't think they get a peg on the coat rack. Need to go as well. Macca, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you joining. Of course, we will have the Bangor City later at 3:30 as normal again. So, still the regular daily content on the channel too. And tomorrow we'll have the double header, of course, because we'll have the new Christmas series and then a triple header on Tuesday because we'll have the Christmas series, the normal long-term story and this live stream too. So for anyone who's new along, 5:30 on Tuesday night is the live stream time and 10:30 on Sunday morning. Same series, Dundee United. Let me catch up again. Craig, but Wenger had better players, not yet. Yeah, he had a better squad he inherited. And he didn't inherit loads of nonsense off the pitch. He inherited a situation where someone like David Hill, David Dean, I can't remember who the old chairman was. Peter Hillwood? Is that right? Or something along those lines. He was brilliant for them. If you were manager at Watford, would you even consider Amazon Prime for 3 months? If I was offered the Watford job, I would make sure I got the longest contract and the most amount of money possible and then go. Because you know you're going to get sacked in a few months. Oh, yeah. But, Tom, you've got to give it to... You at Arsenal and United there could bring in basically anyone. Arteta's working on scraps because they've been in dismay for years. Yeah, Blue Lions, Jack, it's a bit bizarre, isn't it? I'm not quite sure what to make of them, but we've come back into the game as the half's gone on. Thank you for making the chat so active this morning. I do appreciate it. It's been good fun. Talking football, obviously, Luton got a great point yesterday as well. So that was good to see. Everyone had predicted them to lose. And we got the teams like Luton out again, which is ironic coming from Bournemouth fans, considering we were both on minus points in League 2 12 years ago. Short memory for some of these kids, isn't it? Could you imagine Fergie Well, exactly. Arteta is probably going to finish 11th or above this season if he gets the full season. But he'll get sacked. Fergie didn't, did he? Fergie's one of a kind. He made Phil Jones look good. Phil Jones at 18 was sensational. If you watch back those early games at Blackburn, he was something else. But injuries caught up so quick. And that's actually a good example of the time it takes. Because Ollie's inherited a situation where the board have offered Phil Jones a new contract. I don't think he was that involved in it. Or he was told we're not going to be able to get a big replacement for him. And it means it's a 3 or 4 year turnaround. It's at what point, Tom, it's at what point do we need a new manager bounce to get away from the bottom 3? You won't need one. You'll survive fine this year. But I don't think it's the right thing for Arsenal to move the manager. Elgaman, I have a question because I helped make the Load FM Discord. Would you in the future like a podcast one? It's something we're thinking about. I mean, we want to get to 1,000 ideally on YouTube, which we're rushing towards. We've gone from 150 to 740 in a few months. So if we can get to 1,000, I think we'll then open it up a bit more. But as this game goes, it looks like a bit of a shocker, to be honest. Smith's nervous at right back, so we're going to bring Josh Clark on. In midfield, O'Reilly replaced by Houghton, Rayon for Fuchs. Up on the right wing, Bolton's knackered, so Chalmers on for him. And then up front, Nicky Clark replaced by Shankland. Let's go for it for 15. 5 subs made at once. You can't say we're disrupting the flow of the game, can you? We're going to fire them up into the last 10 minutes. And hopefully we nick one. Is it every day over Christmas? So the Christmas series will run every day, Monday to Sunday at midday, including Christmas Eve, Christmas Day and Boxing Day. The long-term series will run every day on the channel at 3:30, except from Christmas Day and New Year's Day, because traditionally a lot of people don't watch on those days, and I don't want you to miss out on the story. And I wouldn't have time to come and talk and respond to comments and that either. So those 2 days there won't be, but there will be something else in the 3:30 slot. And the streams are uninterrupted because they fall on Tuesday and Sunday. They're not really affected. We've just conceded a winner to St Johnstone, and I'm starting to get a bit alarmed, to be honest. Our form is drying up very quickly. The injuries are starting to rack up. I feel like we need a bit of gold dust in this team, but I don't have the money to do it. As Sporrell picks it up on the left, we might have to go big for Brophy, but it's not striker we need the signing. Here's McNulty though, can he save a point? Mark McNulty! Great save by Xander Clark. The last thing we wanted is to go into this cup game in poor form, and that's what's going to happen because we've lost it. Fergie was a proven manager with league titles and a Cup Winners' Cup. Well, I'd argue for Arteta. He's come in 6 months and won, with a very average side, the Community Shield and, more importantly, the FA Cup. So, I'd argue Arteta's a winner. He's won a trophy already. And correct me if I'm wrong, Emery didn't win a trophy in a year and a half, and he got given a full season that was pretty poor too. James Justin, clean sheet today, please. He's been really good this season. How long before he's talked about in the England squad? Looks cold on the pitch, yeah, it does. Jack, I've had haircuts that last longer than Chelsea and Watford managers. People call him for it to sell players like Mount and Abraham. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But then the problem is they go, oh, let's sell these guys. And the same for Arsenal. Their transition, they've got probably 10 British youth players in that squad. And they're going, oh, let's move the manager on. Or let's get in some proper players. You'll get in someone who will just bring in 3 or 4 world-class players. They'll save them. They'll be fine. And then we go, oh, the youngsters never get a chance at Arsenal. You just can't win. So Accrington have made an offer for Paulet. We'll accept that. Ross County for McMullen, we'll accept that. We're just trying to bring in some transfer money, really. Because the way we're playing at the moment, I'm not confident. We're just coming into a little poor spell. And after finishing with that Celtic win last time, it's a bit of a struggle. So we're going to make sure we play the Hamilton double-header before we finish. Then we'll try and get St Mirren and the cup tie done off camera. Because I'm aware, due to the active chat and the football laughs, we've probably overrun a little here. And I want you to be finished by 12 for the game. Of course, the Scottish Cup final's at 2 today, so make sure you watch that as well. Craig, genuine question. Is Tammy good? I don't see anything special. He's good. I mean, the season at Villa in the Championship, he was exceptional. He's good for Chelsea. My argument is this. Probably a bit like Welbeck's a similar example when he was at United. He's a good Premier League striker, not a great one. I don't see Tammy Abraham being Chelsea's number 9 for 10 years, first choice, etc. But like Welbeck at United, he's a homegrown player. He's a good squad player to have. You're always going to be playing with these sorts of clubs 50, 60 games a year. And to have him to start League Cup ties, FA Cup ties, against the sort of bottom 8 teams in the Premier League, he'll always score goals. So I always think he's a good player to keep. Mason Mount, again though, 2 years ago, no one was talking about him till he went to Derby. A season in the Championship, and the same for Abraham, a season in the Championship, and now they're Premier League stars. And don't forget, Abraham was in the top 5 scorers in the Premier League last year. You've got to remember that. So he deserves his crack at the whip. Whether you think he will be good enough or not, he deserves it. I've gone to Boreham Wood on my save. Boreham Wood are a good little club. One of the local ones here. Jack Ross has been sacked by Hibs in our save. Obviously doing a very good job in real life. But here, they're struggling, just 2 points off the bottom. Right, Brophy, I've decided he's the man I want, but I can't afford him. And it looks like, as a result, we'll end up with Jason Cummings and Ryan Hardy. So how long before our next game? 6 days. So let's get all of these kids into the reserve squad. I think they all need the matches, so let's do it. Another under-18 assistant manager. Didn't we just get one of them? We had that at Dundee as well. So many assistant managers coming in. Do FM rate Balogun? Yeah, he's rated as a hot prospect to become a Premier League striker. Jack, I see a player that deserves to be in the squad, worked hard and is better than any of the squad strikers we've seen at Chelsea. Exactly. I mean, Jack, you've basically just said what I said, haven't you? He's a very good squad player. He's not cost them anything, like the 30 million for Batshuayi, like the however much they'd have to spend to replace Giroud. So, yeah, I think he's a fantastic player. As long as he's happy to rotate, he's a fantastic option. Free gold. I'd always want to give a manager at least one full season. And when you're rebuilding after a legend, you've got to go for probably 2 in my eyes. And that was the mistake United made. Moyes was the right man for the job. Fergie had highlighted it. He needed time. It was a squad that was about to go into transition. Elliot, morning, welcome along. Thank you for popping in. It's going well. We're having a bit of a blip in the road this morning. We're getting a few little injuries. We've not won either of our first 2 games, only picking up 1 point. And we've now got a bogey side twice in a row. Once in the league and then once in the cup semi-final. Scottish Cup 3rd round draw. We've got another SPL club. Who would have thought that? We managed to get Livingston. Big draw for Alloa, for Mark down there. They've got St Mirren. Gretna 2008 are back. We've got a podcast coming out next week with Alan Jenkins, who was in the Gretna team as they went bust. It's absolutely fascinating. It's hilarious. He played for Ballymena in Northern Ireland as well, which was good fun. I think he played for Stranraer and a couple of other sides in Scotland too. And his first memory was about Hibs as well. Seems to be with all of them. Right, Robson's unhappy because he's not starting games. We might offer him a loan actually, because we've got a few in the club. We'll see if anyone comes in for him. So he is 23 now, so I can see why he wants games. But he could potentially be our first choice in the future. Peter Pawlett off to Accrington, 50 grand in the bank, good money for him. But get Brophy, but make lots of incentives instead of a fee. Yeah, it seems the best option. But yeah, I think overall we can't complain at how this is going. We've just got to make sure that Motherwell gap doesn't close too quickly, which it risks doing the way we're playing at the moment. But thank you for everyone coming in this morning. It's been great to have such an active chat. Of course, we will have our normal stream on Tuesday as well. Christmas week not affected. And we'll be live on Sunday the 27th too. So make sure you're about over Christmas. There's plenty of fun to come on the channel and over on the podcast too. There's Boxing Day fixtures on the Championship, so we'll have our prediction show out in a week. FUT chaps, thanks for being live so I don't have to play it. I'm always here playing Football Manager, so you don't have to worry about that. Oh, look what's just happened. Arteta sacked by Arsenal. Let me go and see where they are. In fact, let me sort out my coaching team first. Simon Royce, the former Charlton keeper. Very good goalkeeping coach. So let's get him in. We need 2 more, apparently. Are they both coach roles? Only 1. So let's get Simon Royce an offer. Of course, we can replace some of the existing coaches if we have to. There we go, 850 quid a week for him. Carl Halabi, not got the best mental stats for the coaching. And a performance analyst, there you go. Just what we needed. Lots of English coaches coming in. We've not had many Scottish ones approach us, which I find a bit strange. But as long as they're good, we'll take it. Scouts, Foster's employed. Scottish head of youth development, but not great. And he's Scottish and not great either. So let's go and see how Arteta's doing to get sacked. Arsenal are 12th place in the league. He's rated quite well as a coach on here. What I want to see... So they're 12th in the league, 23 points. Actually, that's not too dissimilar to how they're probably going to be in real life in a couple of weeks. Although you say that, they win their 2 games in hand. They're 1 point off Burnley, who are remarkably up in 6th. Tottenham are doing well in this one as well. Who's missing out of there? Leicester as well, 7th. Interesting. Villa are bottom. That's interesting. They went down in a beta save as well. So, I'll tell you what. How are Arsenal doing in the Cups? That's what I want to know. In the Carabao Cup, they lost in the semi-final to Chelsea. In the FA Cup, they lost in the 3rd round to Brighton. So, that's what's done it, isn't it? And they've got Celtic in the Europa League first knockout. There you go. I worship Vergi, but he left the team in a bad state. Exactly. He left because he knew he couldn't do another transition. And I get that. He's deserved it. He'd earned it. But he knew the club was going into a transition, which is why he probably said, get Moyes who can rebuild the squad. And they didn't even give him the year, which was astonishing. And as it's been proved since, they'd probably be in a better state. And Moyes now doing a fantastic job at West Ham, by the way. So some of the signings he picks up, he must be the best man at picking up good, cheap signings. I mean, he built that Everton side with like Baines for 4 million, Cahill for $1.5 million, was it? Fellaini didn't cost a great deal. Got in Louis Sahar on a free when they needed a striker. Seamus Coleman, probably the best of the lot, still there. Absolutely astonishing. I mean, the new West Ham right back for 4 or 5 million looks a proper player as well. Souček's a good one. Doing so well. Tom getting a nosebleed in 12th, yeah. I want to have a look at the Premier League table, actually. Not something I've paid the closest attention to this year. So Arsenal, 15th on 14 points. It's not a disaster, really. You're 9 points off the Europa League places in the 2 Manchester clubs. You're 8 points off Chelsea, who have been considered to have a scintillating season so far. It is a bit strange. It's getting tight down the bottom, actually, isn't it? After the Sheffield United. West Brom have got their first game under Big Sam tonight, haven't they, against Villa? I do feel for Villa a bit, because they were starting to look sensational with Barkley and Grealish together, and then Barkley got his injury. And I felt if he'd carried on in that form, he probably would have worked his way into the Euro squad. Jack, what did you think of the Amazon coverage of the Prem? Streaming might be a fantastic way to bring money into lower leagues. I really like the Amazon coverage for a few reasons. Generally, the presenting, when they've had multiple games, has been good. So one of my favourite presenters is Ailey Barber. I think she's brilliant. She did the presenting for one. They had Jim Rosenthal back in the early ones as well. The commentary themselves, Ian Crocker, we mentioned the interview on the podcast. He does some of them. Peter Drury. All the old classics, basically. John Champion and Ali McCoist as a pundit. Ali McCoist is the main man. And they got him in as well, which was great. Michele, welcome along. Thank you for coming in. Do appreciate it. Souček was amazing at Slavia Prague last season in the Champions League group. Which club did Kufal come from? I think, is it Sufal, is it pronounced? Let me have a look. I see he came from Slavia Prague as well. 6 million. What a steal. I mean, he'll get a big boost in game in January. Because he's fantastic. Right, fitness test. McMullen has snubbed Ross County. That's interesting. We're now away to bogey side Hamilton. So even when we've been in good form this season, we've managed to throw away points against them. The positive is, we're back to near enough our first 11. The morale's still good despite the drop points. Shanklin will start. Duffy will be back on the bench for a Pere. And yeah, I mean, we know where we're short. It's just a striker, isn't it? What did Reynolds get in the last game? 6.8. And Pearson. I'm not sure. He's not played as well, Matty Pearson. He's not match fit yet either. And with 5 subs, we can play anyone. So let's start with that. In fact, Liam Smith's had 2 poor games in a row by the looks of it, a right back. So let me just get in Josh Clark there. And aside from that, we'll stick with it. Hamilton away, our bogey side, and we've got them in this game and then in a cup to finish the episode. We could reach a cup final in season 1, which would be absolutely epic. So let's go and say we're favourite for a reason. Let's go and get into it. Fingers crossed we'll be alright, but Hamilton are on a surge. Yeah, Slavia Prague also, been brilliant. Yeah, Craig, great to see Simon Thomas back. That's a good statement, actually. It was good to see him. He's done a couple now, hasn't he? I don't like the fact there's 3 things you have to pay for to watch football. It's a bit of a shame. But, I mean, the Amazon one, I don't think I've ever paid for it. Because, like, the packages they've got, I know there's the odd one at the moment with where it's been shared out. But for their actual contracted packages, all the games are in December over a 1-month period. So if you do, like, buy one thing in the Black Friday shop, they'll give you a month free trial. And you just cancel it on the 26th of December. So yeah, that's my tip of the day for financial cover. Gill leaving the same time as... Well, it's a similar story, isn't it? Arsenal went downhill when David Dean left, and Gill was the big man at United. It does make the difference. If Brighton beat rock bottom Sheffield United, we go 16th. You'll be fine, Tom. Don't panic. You're going to win the Europa League this year if you keep Arteta. Mark my words. Green Moyes wasn't given time or the backing with transfers. That's the key bit. And that's because Gill had left at the same time. And that's probably the thing they were most guilty of, is that they didn't succession plan for Gill. Ferguson was thinking Moyes is the right man, but then they didn't back him to bring in the other people as well. Because I'm guessing the board weren't as sure as Fergie, but Without that support, it's very hard in modern football. And their football inside off the pitch is still ruined. As Shankland gets in, he's hit a post. Oh, it always happens against Hamilton. We miss great chances and then somehow don't manage to get the result. Our expected goals is well above 1 now, and we haven't won it. Free goal, McCoist is likeable. He's the best punter. He used to do the old FIFAs, which were great as well. Craig, if they improve iFollow, it could be brilliant. It's a brilliant idea for a service, horribly executed. That's the way I describe it. Michele, I was watching the Copa Libertadores, and there is a player for Vélez called De La Vega who was amazing. Yeah, I wonder who the favourites are. Were they showing it? Where were they showing it over here? Was it on Free Sports or the BBC they were doing it? I'm going to have to go and have a look. I think they were maybe sharing the coverage. I'm sure there were some games on Free Sports in the overnights. Yeah, but from now it's the BBC Red Button. So on Christmas Eve, it's Boca Juniors v Racing. That'll be a great game. Oh, it's the Brazilian top league that's on Free Sports. I keep getting it mixed up. It's been really good coverage. I've got to say, as someone who grew up just with like Freeview and that, Free Sports is such a revolution to the British TV market. Like every week there's Italian games, there's Spanish games, they've got some Scottish football, they've got some brilliant stuff on there. They lost 1-0 to Racing in the first leg. Oh, that'll be brilliant then. The doorbell keeps going. I've no idea what's going on. Obviously there's 600 parcels coming. Right, let's have a look at the changes. Luke Bolton's picked up a knock. We'll bring on Duffy on the right. We've got... Oh, Reynolds has had a poor game at centre-half, despite the clean sheets. We'll bring on Pearson. Ray will go in the middle for Fuchs. And we'll replace O'Reilly with Houghton. But I'll leave it a 4 for now. We've got one more change if we need it. And it will be Josh Clark, actually. Because he's tired. So we'll replace him with Liam Smith. Can we nick a goal though? Hodgson's won it back. And if anything, Hamilton looked the more likely. I'm going to cancel that change just because we know my superstition there. Houghton finds Mitchell. And it's been a good performance. A return to form on that front. But no goals. And McNulty and Shankland just drying up a bit up there. Which is a problem for me. As Houghton's got it on the left wing. Delivers the ball to Shankland. Must have heard me as he sets up Duffy. First goal since joining. Fantastic moment. We'll make the change at right back. And hopefully we'll hold on. Fantastic stuff. Right on cue. Yeah, Boca are still in it, Tom. River Plate, the favourites, beat Nacional 6-1. I don't know how the draws worked. Have they done the semis yet? Because could River and Boca get the final again? Because that was chaos the other year, wasn't it? Yeah, the autocorrect's getting everyone these days. I was going to say, didn't know Millwall were playing in the South America. That's a little bit cheeky from Tom there. And to be fair, I would say, Tom, on that front, most Millwall fans aren't. So let's not group them all together because that's the sort of thing that encourages more to get involved. If they're saying it about us, we might as well. You know, most Millwall fans have been great and the club have been great. It's just the few of the old-fashioned idiots, isn't it? The River Plate manager, Gallardo, by the way, should be managing an elite European club. Oh, he's a great manager. Really is. Newcastle are 14th in the Championship and just sacked the manager. Definitely applying. That looks like a good one for your series, Carl. Definitely. We nicked the win at Hamilton. Big important one. And most importantly, we're saying more of the same. We've got them inspired. And we know in midweek, it's Hamilton Academical again. It is the League Cup semi-final. Luke Bolton's going to miss it. But it is a big way to end the morning. We could get to a cup final. In fact, it's next Saturday, so we've got a whole week off. And it's Hibs v Celtic. Hibs will have the new manager bounce by then. Celtic, of course, heavy favourites. But just to get to a final would be incredible. Thank you to everyone coming in as well. I haven't said it for a while. You've been so consistent and so active this morning. It makes such a difference. Absolutely loved it this morning. It's been great. Today's Serie A games are amazing. There's one game on Free Sports out of the lot, which I can watch over here. But like, if I show you something, like for the UK, for free TV football today, I know that some of them clash, but there's like the Arsenal v Everton women on the BBC Red Button at 12:30. At 2 o'clock, you've got Inter Milan v Spezia. probably pronounced wrong, at 2:15 on BBC One Scotland, the Scottish Cup final between Celtic and Hearts. On Free Sports at 5:30, it's Gil Vicente v Benfica in the Portuguese League, and then Porto v Nacional straight after that. It's incredible, really. You can't argue with it. Tuesday, there's a La Liga game on Free Sports. Wednesday, there's the Champions League final from CONCACAF. There's also Roma v Cagliari. Cagliari, sorry, I don't know where that came from. Then we mentioned the Copa Libertadores on Christmas Eve. And then there's Premier League football on the BBC on Boxing Day. I mean, it's pretty remarkable, really. I think Sky have put a lot of their games on Sunday the 27th on Sky 1, so we'll have to be done by 12 then, because it's Leeds, Burnley, then West Ham, Brighton. And then the 28th, we're back to BBC Scotland again, so there's great coverage. I think the Indian Super League's on Free Sports this year as well. Right, let's skip ahead to this last game quickly. I'll catch up with the chat as well. My definite next investment for next year's Black Friday is a second screen, so I can do both at the same time. We need to get with the modern YouTubers by then, and hopefully I'll have a big enough channel to get there, because we are on, as you can see, amazingly, after being on 1,300 subscribers when the new game came out, we're on the race to 1,200. We're on the race to 2,000, sorry, before the end of the year, which is remarkable. Thoughts on the FA Trophy? I don't think it will finish, to be honest. Look at last year. They still haven't played the final for the FA Trophy in Vars from last year. So all of the players that helped get their clubs there are probably not there, because in non-league there's such a big turnaround every year. It's a fantastic trophy, and the day out of Wembley's great. And if we're able to, we'll go to it like we always do. But hopefully we'll have a double non-league finals day. Maybe they could do a Saturday and Sunday or 2 Sundays in a row. It'd be great. Non-league finals weekend at Wembley Stadium. But me, Craig and Charlie, we always go for the podcast. It's great. Did Barnet lose? Yeah, they lost to Histon. Histon are on their way back up, actually. Used to be a National League club when we were there with Luton. No, it was Craig who said Barnet would be top 7. So Charlie said they'd struggle like me. Jack, thanks for the anxious work. Appreciate it. And just on a side note, I got the vaccination yesterday, the first one. No trouble at all, as predicted. So don't believe all of the nonsense out there. Yeah, Michele Barnett just appointed Tim Flowers. He's so unfortunate, really. He was unlucky to get sacked by Solihull. He was doing a great job there. Went to Macclesfield and then they went bust before his first game. And now he's back with Barnet. So hopefully he'll do all right there. I can see Aberdeen have just gone for George Moncur on an end of contract deal. I might go and jump in with that one. Yeah, Craig, he's done quite well in the weekly predictions, but his league ones have been shocking, particularly the National League. Yeah, Craig went Wrexham to get in the top 7 as well. I went first, obviously. To be fair, Barnet might recover with Tim Flowers, but the same as some of the others, the off-the-pitch stuff always overshadows it. There's always so much with the owner going on. It's a bit strange. Right, St Johnstone have gone for Robson on loan, so we might let him go, but they're going to have to pay the whole wage. Up to 90%. There we go. So let's see this George Moncur one. I don't know that he's really going to improve us in Season 2. That's the problem. He's very versatile, though. That's what I was looking at. And he's 2.5 to 3 star across the board. But I think for next season, we're going to have to save our budget for quality. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to resist the temptation. My predictions for the National League each season to do well is always those who get promoted from the North and those who make the playoffs from the National League the season before. Yeah, this season made it a bit harder though, didn't it, with the playoff campaigns? I mean, like none of us went for Kings Lynn because they had 2 good successions. We made the mistake with Wealdstone because they lost a few, but there you go. But generally, our National League predictions are quite good. I mean, we got the final right last year. We did quite well. I mean, Charlie and Craig normally struggle. They're ones who they go for promotion and relegation, do the opposite. So like the season before, they went for Fylde to go down. Was it Fylde to go down? No, it was Solihull to go down and they finished second. And then last season, they went for Fylde to go up and they went down or be in the playoffs. But me, I'm normally quite good on the National League predictions because it's the league I watch the most, to be honest. 3 goal. I need a second screen at this end. If I look at the chat, I miss the action. Craig, I expected Richard Beadle to do okay. Well, he did all right in the FA Cup, didn't he? They were doing a good run. He was really open access for like the BBC coverage and that, but it just didn't work out. I just think it's the off-the-pitch stuff. It overshadows so much no matter how good the manager is. We've sent Tyrick Mitchell home, so he's going to miss the Hamilton game. It will be Jamie Robson's last one before his loan spell. L Game, yeah, you hope I'm right with first, of course. You watch the highlights on BT. The Football League highlights I can't be asked to watch. Oh, do you not have Quest? I watch it live on Quest normally. It's good. A lot of the snooker's on there as well. And that for us in England, that's on free TV. So that's easy then. Yeah, the BBC Football highlights good, but they didn't put much into it. They didn't really care. They were on at midnight. I'll be honest, the Quest coverage of them is really good. With Colin Murray and Michelle Owen's been standing in. They've been really good. They put a lot of effort into it and they give it 2 full hours, which is great. After the first few games, Notts County, Wrexham, Stockport, Torquay. I don't know. Stockport seem to be up there. Torquay are starting to drop away. But I think Gary Johnson will say, look, if you get me some in January, I can take you up. And they might well go for that. But let's skip ahead to match day. We'll skip through the press conference and hope we don't say anything bad. And what a way this is to finish. What a way it is, honestly. So, let's look at the players that have been scouted. A winger from Brentford. A young player at Dunfermline. Luca Cannell's come up in the scout reports. A player we know well from Cliftonville last year, of course. And Jonathan DeBee at Tottenham as a lone player. But he's not good enough, really. So the plan is, we're going to play this game, get through the next 2 off camera and transfer deadline day, because I don't expect us to do much. And then come back for Motherwell in the next episode. Steve Bruce has been sacked, I saw as well, but they were in the bottom 3, I think, there. But in real life, he's doing a great job as well. Oh, it's a shame. Have you got... See if you can get an app called... Michele, see if you can get an app called TV Player. So it's basically like a half-baked version of Freeview. And there's pay channels you can sign up to. But I'm pretty sure, let me just check, it had Quest. I don't know if it still has. In fact, I might scratch that because it looks like that might have gone off there. But that's how I used to watch it. But it's not there anymore by the looks of it. I'm trying to see what the logo looks like. That's a shame because that used to be a really good one to watch it on. What a pain that is. Oh, it says over 40 and I haven't looked at all of them. So, no, it's not there anymore by the looks of it. That's such a shame. Because we used to have that app at our other half's house and we used to just watch it like that. Right, let's get to the big event, shall we? Most importantly this morning, it is the Cup semi-final against Hamilton, who we've just snuck past in the league. I'm going to delay the Jamie Robson deal because we need him for this game. We've got a recruitment meeting as well. I wonder what they're suggesting. A left winger. Sporrell's there. Who else is there? We've got Duffy, haven't we? Advanced forwards, yes. Left winger. We'll just stick with that. That looks alright to me. Let's see the striker reports. Anthony Stokes keeps coming up. I don't want him. Let's scout Butterworth. Let's not worry about Omotoy. Joseph Dermich's on 20 grand a week. I doubt we'll be able to get him, but we'll look. Ellis Harrison similarly. So let's go for 3-star ability because we only need a backup. Left wing. Let's look at the reports. James McLean, no chance. And we'll scout for a proper one then. 3.5 star. We'll replace Sporrell for next season, even if it doesn't happen straight away. And Stuart Downing's popped up as well, but it will decline more in the next 6 months. Buckley from Blackburn will scout. Joe Ward from Peterborough will scout. Craig Forsyth, again, too experienced. Jaden Brown will scout. Richard Stearman's too old and on too much money. Harwood Bellis, another hero from the Cliftonville save. Ziggy Gordon, yeah, I forgot he went over to Australia. Daley Campbell, I remember that name from somewhere as well. Brian Murphy, 37, and we've got a good keeper. And we'll scout Scott Bain from Celtic. Interesting mix of reports, that. But let's go and get into the big game. We'll think about the changes. We've obviously got a left back out as well. Thank you for everyone coming in as well. Did you hear about the Claps League One deal in January? So many players will be sold apart from PSG. Is that the sponsorship deal? Because the league was sponsored by Uber Eats, wasn't it? I know I've just lost my monetisation, but... Is that what they've lost? What are the other deals that have gone? Or is it a completely different deal? Yeah, I was going to say, the French league, I never watched the games on BT involving PSG, but I watch, like, on the Sunday night, I watch whatever game's on sometimes. If there's not a Bundesliga one, I'll watch that. And generally, a lot of the other sides are quite evenly matched. It's very similar to, in my opinion, at a different level, obviously. It's very similar to the Scottish league. It gets discounted because there's one or two such dominant teams. But actually, further down, the competitive action's great. Like, if you watch the Scottish league, as games that don't involve Rangers and Celtic and are between two of the others, they're normally great. Like the Aberdeens, the Motherwells, the Hibs, the Hearts when they were there, the Dundee Uniteds, the Dundees when they were there. They were always good to watch. So let's have a look at what we can do today. Only 7 subs for this competition, of course. And I think that's what we're going to go for, because Butcher's been out as well. In terms of the starting lineup, O'Reilly was okay last game, so we'll keep him in. Robson's in at right back. I'm going to bring left back, sorry. I'm going to bring Liam Smith back in at right back. I'm going to make the big decision to start Matty Pearson at centre back. And that's it. First 11 aside from that. Shankland's back to fitness. He's back to happiness. Let's get into it. Hamilton v Dundee United. We finished this morning on a League Cup semi-final. And a chance to get a first major final in our first year. We've got to close down Templeton. Very similar lineup to the one that played last week, but they have now got that Norwich youngster in at centre-half. And we're going to say we're favourites. Get out there and do what we can. That's a big ground. It's the semi at Hampden as well for the League Cup. That seems bizarre. Oh, so the TV deal, sorry. 3.6 million, but they couldn't pay. Wow. I'll have a look at that article afterwards. That's bizarre. We're well into the 20s for viewers now as well. Thank you to everyone coming along. It's been one of the most active chats and the most interactive streams we've ever had. So thank you all for watching along. There will be a full replay afterwards if you've missed any of it. And another quick reminder, the new Christmas series starts tomorrow, every day at midday. We'll still have the 2 long-term stories at 3:30 today and every other day next week. Only Christmas Day the break for that. And then the live streams will be back on Tuesday evening as well. As it's a great chance here. Oh, Hamilton have curled in a screamer. A really quiet 25 minutes, and then that happens. I guess then, particularly with Brexit potentially looming as well, I'm guessing a lot of the clubs in England will be swarming around for those French kids. Sound like a robot now, not sure what happened. Do I still sound like a robot? Let me know in the comments if I do. If it's changed back, I'm alright, then let me know if I'm still a robot. Same for me. Okay, hang on. See what's happened. Do I sound okay now? Thank you for all letting me know. Are we okay now? I've gone back to the old plug out and plug in. So tell me if we're alright after this. Let me know if still up to date from this point, because obviously I know it's about 20 seconds behind. Craig? Fixed? Is that yes fixed? Yes okay? The computer's randomly gone a bit slow as well, so I'm guessing Windows have thrown in a nice update to put us off. Yes, all okay? Perfect, thank you. Appreciate we're back to normal now. I don't know what happened there. It looks like Windows has started to try and do an update, which has caught us out. Happy days. We're all back to normal. Appreciated. We can always blame Windows. And in all of that, I've missed our goal yet again. Mark McNulty scored it and got an injury. It looks like a player's off for them as well, so it must have been like a collision or something. I'll go back and watch the goal after, but hopefully we can nick another hit. We're down to 10, but so are they. And they're missing a defender, which is more, I guess. Liam Smith gets the crossing. Shankland's there. It's out to Smith again. Second time lucky. McNulty. Just over. Right, now we're back to normal. Let's go and have a look at that Mark McNulty goal, shall we? You guys will have probably seen it. Mark McNulty. Oh, it's a great finish. Lovely goal. Does Sunderland have a lot of debt? I would imagine they've got a bit because their owner's trying to sell up, and I can imagine that being the reason. And they were in massive debt when he took over, to be fair. But it's a very hard club to manage. The salary cap really impacts. But Lee Johnstone will do a good job for them. I didn't actually see their score yesterday. Into McNulty. Oh no, their 3 games are off, aren't they? Because they had the outbreak. Oh, I don't know whether to take him off. It's only a bruised ankle. It's not going to get worse, is it? I think we have to leave him on. But here come Hamilton again. This season, 1 win, 1 draw, 1 defeat. It really is a tight one. But thank you for everyone for your support this morning. It's been great to have you all here. Do appreciate you joining along. We will finish off after this game. And Hamilton are giving us a spot of bother here. So I might drop to balance just to test the waters with it. Oh, look, it's a Doffin on the right. A Dundee hero in the head coach. He's one of our star players there. It's into the box. It's a great save by Segrist. I'm going to drop to balanced. But Hakeem Doffin, that shows you that their quality is good. Because we know he's a good player. They're playing a diamond now. So we're going to try and use the width as much as possible. And I think we're going to have to make changes. I think we only get 3 subs in the cup. So, Bolton will be replaced by Duffy. I'm going to have to do it, aren't I? McNulty struggling to run it off. So I'm going to bring Clark on. In midfield, Fuchs will be replaced by Glenn Ray. He's popped up with a few goals this season. And we'll leave it at 3. And if we can make more later, we will. What team do you recommend to manage? It's a good question, actually. Do you think players are going to try and... No, Carl, definitely not. It would be beyond stupidity. I like the way Norwich and Bournemouth had continuity from last season. Yeah, to be fair, Bournemouth have surprised me of the 2. We're really struggling here. Hamilton are having chances galore. I'm not quite sure how to get around it, but we are at the other end now. So if we can nick a winner, then we'll make changes. As Ray crosses, up goes the left winger, it's away to O'Reilly. Back down for Duffy. Out to Liam Smith on the right. This is the chance. We're building a bit of pressure. Glenn Ray delivers in towards Shankland, loses out, but it's O'Reilly again. They cannot get it clear. Out wide to the left this time, Jamie Robson. He's got the chance to cross. Back to O'Reilly. Robson again. Good delivery, please. In towards the front post. And it's cleared away by Hamilton, and a Doffin's there to the rescue. To Liam Smith, to Duffy. They still can't get out their own half. And here's the concerted pressure. Sporrell to Robson. Out on the left again. Another chance to deliver. Goes back to O'Reilly. In towards Ray. Glenn Ray nearly scores. And it's out for a goal kick. Let's go and make changes. If we can make 2 more. Chalmers on the left wing. And I'm going to bring on, because Mengi's knackered, Reynolds at centre half. Reynolds and Pearson together. I know it takes away a bit of pace. But I feel like we have to have fit players on the pitch. And we are playing well since going to the balanced mentality. I would recommend managing Palermo in Serie C. Hamburg in the 2nd Bundesliga, yeah, if you want big steps up. Oh, some of our subs have gone again. It doesn't matter because Duffy's put it in. Some of Hamilton's players have gone greyed out here. There's definitely some funny business going on during this game. But more importantly, our big money signing, we were worried about paying the wages for him. But he's come in and he's got 2 important goals. So I'm just going to change our wing-backs to full-backs on defend because they've gone 3 up front. And I'm seeing if there's anything else we can do shape-wise. There must be. So, Nicky Clark, where can you go? You can go in as a number 10 or you can play off the left-hand side. Chalmers can play number 10 or the right. So, let's drop Clark in. Just like that, just to make it a bit more defensive. Nicky Clark, advanced playmaker on support. O'Reilly can be a deep liar on defend. Ray can be a ball winner on defend. In fact, no, central midfielder on defend. He's a more defensive-minded one. Mentality-wise, we still want to hit into space on the counter-attack. We still want to play wider, but we're going to slow the pace down. We're going to regroup when we lose it. And I think we're going to drop the line of engagement just to bunch up the pitch with their midfield. Tactically, this could come back to bite us on the backside. But 2 minutes plus stoppage time. And we now are basically there. We've got a lot of players who haven't got shirts for Hamilton. Which is making it very hard to pick them out, as you can see. But up to Martin, the centre forward. Lays it off to Collar, who scored a screamer already. It's so weird. It's happened a couple of times in this series, hasn't it? Where they've lost the pigment. as it goes to Templeton and it's in on the rebound. Oh! Every time we try to be clever, it comes back to bite us on the backside. I might as well just give up with it. Nicky Clark, advance forward. Ray, box to box, back to normal. And it looks like we've got extra time. What a grandstand finish. In fact, in the League Cup, will it just be penalties? What else can we do? We're going to distribute quickly. We'll take that back off and we'll push the line back up. And we might even go positive just to try and throw them into stoppage time. I cannot defend against a front three. I find it so difficult. In a theoretical scenario, imagine if Udinese qualified for the Champions League when they had Isla, Sanchez, Benatia and Hadanovic. That's the problem though, isn't it? Is that all of these clubs, we talked about it before with Hibs in the mid-2000s, when they had basically all of the team that the old firm had then. It's just they can't keep hold of them for a year or two to really develop. And that's what's the hardest bit of being that sort of next tier down of club. We're into extra time and it's going really difficultly at the moment. I presume we haven't got a sixth sub. We haven't. But half time and extra time, there's no goals. This is going to penalties. I can tell you now. Let's fire the lads up, but they're knackered. Extra time's always boring. I'd be well for abolishing it. We've had the better of the game just. But Hamilton's expected goals is higher. And we've not really got any good takers. So, Shankland's calm. Interestingly, and that's the first time I've seen this, Chalmers is the fifth best taker, but it says specifically he doesn't want to take a penalty, and the same for two of the others. So Glenn Ray will be up fourth. Then we're going to go for confident Mark Reynolds, then Liam Smith, then Pearson and O'Reilly, and then we'll go for the three that don't want to take one. So Chalmers, Siegrist and Jamie Robson. Oh dear, let me catch up with the chat quickly before we go on. Like the Man United grey strip, yeah, it's a bit harder to see though. Yeah, the Udinese team was brilliant. It would have been, you're right, better than the Atlanta side. But I do love the way the Atlanta side play. Let's get into it. Through the team talk. What do we say? A lot of them are anxious actually. So let's just say, relax, pick your spot and don't change your mind. Lawrence Shankland up first. If he misses, we know we're going to lose it. But what a way to finish the morning this one is. Lawrence Shankland up. Right-footed into the corner. No mistake. And this is when I wish we had McNulty on the pitch. That we had Tyrick Mitchell instead of a young, inexperienced left-back. Winter steps up. Hits the post. We couldn't see him running up, but he smashes the woodwork and it bounces out. And maybe the cup final is coming. Here's Michael Duffy, the man who got the second goal, the all-important one. He slides his in as well. And the two experienced men have made absolutely no mistake. Hamilton have got another stepping up. Another one of the ones without a shirt. Here he comes, right-footed. Oh, it's wide! It's becoming a dream penalty shootout. What a minute this has been for us. Nicky Clark, he's lost his physicality. He's still got the experience though. And he slides it down the middle. We can't lose from here. All five have to go against us. Surely it can't. We've got a player whose shirt we can see this time. It's Martin who steps up third. Now Siegrist hasn't actually had to save one yet. But he can make himself a hero here. Martin right-footed. Siegrist in goal. Goes the wrong way. Fantastic penalty. Absolutely spot on. And surely Glenn Ray, a player who barely scores for Luton, but here has scored a few for us, has been a good taker. He's going to feature in the series next week, but I need him to be a hero now. Glenn Ray, right-footed. He can put his name in the headlines. They're spot on there. And he's put it in. 4 perfect penalties from Dundee United. A 4-1 shootout win. And we finish the morning by reaching the Scottish League Cup final. Let's go and see if it's Hibs or Celtic we face. And then we'll all go and watch the 12 o'clock kickoff. Just in time. Let's go and have a look. A brilliant achievement. We're third in the league and we've got to the League Cup final. We couldn't ask for a better first season. McNulty will be back by next week. We'll send the assistants to this press conference. Let's see who wins the Sunday tie. Hibs v Celtic for the other place in the final. While we do that, thank you to everyone for coming along. I do appreciate your support this morning. It's been a great chat. It's been consistently highly viewed. No mistake there, it is Celtic who we'll be facing. I'm not sure when the final is. The end of February. Well, that works out perfectly, doesn't it? We'll play these 2 games off camera. We'll play those 5 league games in Tuesday's live stream. And then next Sunday, straight after Christmas, we'll have the League Cup final, possibly a Scottish Cup tie, Celtic, Rangers and Aberdeen before the league split. We've got a great week in store from this one. What a fantastic morning it's been. Really enjoyed it. Michele, there was a team in Serie A in the 06-07 season called Treviso and are now in the 6th tier. Even when I was doing the San Marino challenge a couple of years ago, they were in the 3rd or 4th. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? And they've not had bankruptcies. That is beyond strange. They were always a decent side in that. Thank you to everyone for coming along this morning. Thank you all for getting involved in the chat. I appreciate you making such a great support act here. I do appreciate you coming along. A good save. I'll keep an eye on it for a future year. They're the sort of ones I love. If you haven't yet, please do chuck a thumbs up on it. It does make such a difference. There'll be a full replay on the channel afterwards. Apologies for the couple of minutes with the mic. But thank you for your support. The new Christmas series starts tomorrow at midday. I'll see you for that. Bangor City later today. The head coach as normal tomorrow. And then we'll be back on Tuesday evening at 5:30 for more action with Dundee United. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.